We continue on today with Chapter 11, The Inheritance of God's Son. Never forget that the sonship is your salvation, for the sonship is yourself. As God's creation, it is yours, and belonging to you, it is His. Your self does not need salvation, but your mind needs to learn what salvation is. You are not saved from anything, but you are saved for glory. Glory is your inheritance, given you by your Creator, that you might extend it. Yet if you hate part of yourself, all your understanding is lost, because you are looking on what God created as yourself without love. And since what He created is part of Him, you are denying Him His place in His own altar. Could you try to make God homeless and know that you are at home? Can the Son deny the Father without believing that the Father has denied Him? God's laws hold only for your protection, and they never hold in vain. What you experience when you deny your Father is still for your protection. For the power of your will cannot be lessened without the intervention of God against it, and any limitation on your power is not the will of God. Therefore look only to the power that God gave to save you, remembering that it is yours because it is His, and join with your brothers in His peace. Your peace lies in its limitlessness. Limit the peace you share, and yourself must be unknown to you. Every altar to God is part of you, because the light He created is one with Him. Would you cut off a brother from the light that is yours? You would not do so if you realize that you can darken only your own mind. As you bring him back, so will you return. That is the law of God for the protection of the wholeness of His Son. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. Remember also that the denial of this simple fact takes many forms, and these you must learn to recognize and to oppose steadfastly, without exception. This is a crucial step in the reawakening. The beginning phases of this reversal are often quite painful, for as blame is withdrawn from without, there is a strong tendency to harbor it within. It is difficult at first to realize that this is exactly the same thing, for there is no distinction between within and without. If your brothers are part of you, and you blame them for your deprivation, you are blaming yourself. And you cannot blame yourself without blaming them. That is why blame must be undone, not seen elsewhere. Lay it to yourself, and you cannot know yourself, for only the ego blames at all. Self-blame is therefore ego identification, and as much an ego defense as blaming others. You cannot enter God's presence if you attack His Son. When His Son lifts His voice in praise of His Creator, He will hear the voice for His Father. Yet the Creator cannot be praised without His Son, for their glory is shared and they are glorified together. Christ is at God's altar, waiting to welcome His Son. But come wholly without condemnation, for otherwise you will believe that the door is barred and you cannot enter it. The door is not barred, and it is impossible that you cannot enter the place where God would have you be. But love yourself with the love of Christ, for so does your Father love you. You can refuse to enter, but you cannot bar the door that Christ holds open. Come unto me, who hold it open for you, for while I live it cannot be shut, and I live forever. God is my life and yours, and nothing is denied by God to His Son. At God's altar, Christ waits for the restoration of Himself in you. God knows His Son is wholly blameless as Himself, and He is approached through the appreciation of His Son. Christ waits for your acceptance of Him as yourself, and of His wholeness as yours. For Christ is the Son of God, who lives in His Creator and shines with His glory. Christ is the extension of the love and the loveliness of God, as perfect as His Creator and at peace with Him. Blessed is the Son of God, whose radiance is of His Father, and whose glory He wills to share as His Father shares it with Him. There is no condemnation in the Son, for there is no condemnation in the Father. Sharing the perfect love of the Father, the Son must share what belongs to Him, for otherwise He will not know the Father or the Son. Peace be unto you who rest in God, and whom the whole sonship rests. And from the workbook, Review 2, Lessons 61 through 80. Introduction. We are now ready for another review. We will begin where our last review left off and cover 2 ideas each day. The earlier part of each day will be devoted to one of these ideas, and the latter part of the day to the other. We will have one longer exercise period and frequent shorter ones in which we practice each of them. The longer practice periods will follow this general form. Take about 15 minutes for each of them and begin by thinking about the ideas for the day and the comments that are included in the assignments. Devote some 3 or 4 minutes to reading them over slowly, several times if you wish, and then close your eyes and listen. Repeat the first phase of the exercise period if you find your mind wandering, but try to spend the major part of the time listening quietly but attentively. There is a message waiting for you. Be confident that you will receive it. Remember that it belongs to you and that you want it. Do not allow your intent to waver in the face of distracting thoughts. Realize that whatever form such thoughts may take, they have no meaning and no power. Replace them with your determination to succeed. Do not forget that your will has power over all fantasies and dreams. Trust it to see you through and carry you beyond them all. Regard these practice periods as dedications to the way, the truth, and the life. Refuse to be sidetracked into detours, illusions, and thoughts of death. You are dedicated to salvation. Be determined each day not to leave your function unfulfilled. Reaffirm your determination in the shorter practice periods as well, using the original form of the idea for general applications, and more specific forms when needed. Some specific forms are included in the comments, which follow the statement of these ideas. These, however, are merely suggestions. It is not the particular words you use that matter. Lesson 81. Our ideas for review today are: I am the light of the world. How holy am I, who have been given the function of lighting up the world. Let me be still before my holiness. In its calm light let all my conflicts disappear. In its peace let me remember who I am. Some specific forms for applying this idea when special difficulties seem to arise might be: let me not obscure the light of the world in me. Let the light of the world shine through this appearance. This shadow will vanish before the light. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. It is through accepting my function that I will see the light in me, and in this light will my function stand clear and perfectly unambiguous before my sight. My acceptance does not depend on my recognizing what my function is, for I do not yet understand forgiveness. Yet I will trust that, in the light, I will see it as it is. Specific forms for using this idea might include, let this help me learn what forgiveness means. Let me not separate my function from my will. I will not use this for an alien purpose. I am the light of the world. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. So today we accept the true inheritance of God's Son. Accepting the sonship is our salvation. Remembering that we are not saved from anything, but we are saved for glory. That glory is our inheritance, that is given by God, that we might extend it. The way we think of God is the way we think of ourself. The way we think of ourself is the way we think of God. My will is one with God's. I cannot know myself apart from God's will. Jesus reminds us in the text, only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is the true beginning of the dawn of light. We will not be fooled or tricked by any forms of the denial of this one basic idea. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. I can be deprived of nothing except by my own choice. And this blame is undone, not seen anywhere. I would not judge myself or God, but come holy, free, innocent, blessed, perfect, sharing the perfect love of the Father, sharing the perfect love of the Son, remembering the blessing, the invocation of Christ. Peace be unto you who rest in God, and in whom the whole sonship rests. I am the light of the world. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. Amen.